This is how I'm fueling and training for my marathon as a full-time stay-at-home mom. I'm going to lay out my weekly schedule, how I fuel, how I take care of my children while doing this, while my husband is working in another state and I'm all by myself over here. And I'm also going to talk about the mental blocks that come along with marathon training, especially if you are a mom, because you know that if you're a mom, you are on the clock 24/7. So let's get into it. For my weekly schedule, I prioritize 3 runs per week, and I do most of these on the treadmill. I subscribed to the app Runna last year, and this is a fully customizable kind of AI powered training program app that you pay. I think I paid $119 for the year, and in my opinion, it's been worth it. So if you are training for a marathon, you can go into the plan, you can set the date of your race. It will customize your plan to that date, however many weeks. It's not like a 12-week plan or a 20-week plan. It'll do 17 and a half weeks if that's what you need it to do. So that is very nice. You can also say how many runs you want to do per week, what day you want your runs to be on, when you want your long runs to be on. You can set your pace, and then you can also customize it by saying you want to have a difficult plan, or you want to have an easy plan, or you're a beginner, or you're intermediate. So there's lots of customizing that comes with the app. Disclaimer, Runna is not a running coach. They do have coaches that work for the app, and they provide articles and advice, supplementary resources for you to use for your training plan. But again, it's not a running coach. It is a customizable training app. I love Runna. I recommended it to lots of people, and it's a really great training plan. But then again, you do not have to pay for this. If you type in marathon training plan on Google, you can find tons of free training plans. I'm also weightlifting. I've been weightlifting for the past 10 years pretty consistently, usually 4 to 5 days a week. While I've been training for my marathon, I'm only lifting 3 days a week. I do legs one day, like a push day, so chest, shoulders, and triceps, and then a pull day, back and biceps. I've been using this app called Moves app. It's by a girl named Madeline Custer, or you might know her on Instagram as Madeline Moves. It's $20 a month. I've used this app for years and it has never failed me. I love this app. It's also very customizable, and she has a lot of other plans within her app. Right now, I'm not currently paying for that. I feel very comfortable weightlifting on my own, and I'm currently trying out the Mike Mincer method, which is where you basically do one set of an exercise and you do it to failure. I'm like a lab rat right now. I'm just testing this on myself, so that it remains to be seen whether it actually works or does anything. As a mom, you know that it is imperative to prevent injury, especially when you're training to do hard physical things like running a marathon. Strength training has kept me pretty injury free this whole time. And this is my first marathon training, and I trained for 2 half marathons last year, now training for a marathon, and I have not had one injury, which I would say is a pretty impressive feat, as I have stuck pretty closely to my training plan mileage wise. And I attribute that to weightlifting. The third thing that I'm doing in my training plan is I am incorporating yoga and Pilates. Yoga is more for mobility and recovery. I'm not doing like a super hard, hot Ashtanga Vinyasa class and like pushing myself. I'm doing yin yoga where I'm like laying there starfish on the ground for 10 minutes. But that has helped with recovery. And then I've incorporated Pilates to help increase the strength in some of those smaller muscles that traditional weightlifting won't really target, like your hip flexors, your psoas muscle, even like some of my upper body, shoulder muscles, and my core. And I just do those whenever I want. I just do it when it's convenient for me, or if I'm like not really feeling like I want to push myself super hard that day. I'm very forgiving with myself with yoga, Pilates, weightlifting, and I'm primarily focusing on just get the runs done. That's the most important part of this plan. So that's what my schedule looks like. I'll put a mock schedule right here so you can see it on a calendar. One of the most important things that you have to worry about when you're a mom training for a marathon is who's going to take care of your kids? I'm a stay-at-home mom, so my kids are with me throughout the day, and my husband is currently working in another state, meaning I am 24/7 on mom duty. I'm not going to lie to you guys, I paid for a lifetime membership, and that is how I've been able to marathon train. The lifetime in my city with my kids is around $260 a month, which sounds like a lot, but my gym gives me 3 hours of childcare a day, and that is plenty of time to do a long run. I am a slow runner. I'm talking between 11 and 12-minute miles. When I have a 10-mile run, it is going to take me almost 2 hours. If I have a 15-mile run, I might not get that run done in the 3 hours of childcare that I have. So having a gym that had a lot of childcare where I wasn't worried about what they were doing or if they were getting into trouble, Lifetime is an incredible gym if you're a stay-at-home mom and have the means to go to one, because it's just the cheapest childcare option. So anyways, Lifetime works for me. That's what I do most days of the week. I have also hired a babysitter to do my long runs. I had a 19-mile run a few weeks ago, and my husband could not come into town. My family could not come into town. And this run was going to probably take me around 3.5 to 4 hours. So I hired a babysitter, and she showed up to my house in the morning. I left the kids with her, and then I went and ran. For me, it was really worth it because I needed to do a training run with my friend who I'm running the marathon with, outside in the elements, because we are running a marathon in the winter. To pay a babysitter for a couple of training runs is worth it. I have my family who they have always been so happy to come up here and help and watch my kids while I go do a run. They live 2.5 hours away on either side, both my parents and the in-laws. So this isn't an option that I always have. Now, if you are a mom who doesn't have any of these options, the best thing I could tell you would be to get a treadmill off of Facebook Marketplace, which I have done. The treadmill that we have in there, I have run on plenty of times. It was $100 from Facebook Marketplace. So you can find some cheap options if you need to. All right, let's get into our next segment, fueling. You're a mom, your energy is taken by your kids, cooking and cleaning the house. If you work full-time or part-time, that takes your energy too. If you're not fueling your body properly, you are going to be tired and you are going to burn out and you are going to have a really horrible training block. I'm not a nutritionist or a dietitian. It's clear that I do love a good cookie. What changed the game for me was eating before I ran. I usually do not like eating in the morning. I don't like eating before workouts, but when you are running for 2.5 to 3 hours, you need to eat something beforehand. So I keep it simple. I started eating oatmeal cooked with water with chia seeds and flaxseed in them, and just as much as I can stomach. It kind of gags me out, but that is a good meal that I'm eating 2 to 3 hours before I run. And I've had some of my best runs after starting to eat that little thing of oatmeal. On the runs, I am fueling with these gels. So I have, the first gel is Go Gel by BPN Bare Performance Nutrition. This is the mixed berry. I'm a hyperfixation eater. I tried this flavor, loved it, have never tried another flavor. The texture is pretty gritty, not gritty. I don't know. That's just in my mind how it is, but I feel like it makes it easier to go down because I have something that my tongue can latch onto while I'm running to put it down. And the flavor doesn't linger in your mouth. If I take a little sip of water and wash my mouth out, it's good to go. The other gel that I'm loving is the Honey Stinger Fruit Smoothie Flavor Energy Gel. Similar macronutrients as the BPN. I was worried about this one because of the honey. I thought it might be very sticky. It's actually so smooth coming down. It doesn't leave any kind of taste or residue in my mouth. I have taken this and then not even had water after, and it went down fine. I really like this gel. It's good. For the long runs where I'm running for longer than 2 hours, I don't always eat it, but I will bring a Honey Stinger Energy Waffle. I had a 19-mile run a couple weeks ago, and this saved me. I love my Honey Stinger waffle. These are so good. The first time I ever had one of these was at my first half marathon, and I was like, what is that? And I went out and bought a bunch, and I've been using them on my training plan ever since. Finally, I am using the Salt Stick Fast Chews for hydration. I'm still kind of figuring out what I need to do with these. For me, I know that if I don't drink enough water the day before I take this, I'm going to have some issues putting it down on the run. But I've been taking these about every 7 to 8 miles ish, 7 to 9 miles. These are quick. Again, they don't stick in your mouth after you're done. That would drive me crazy. I take 2 of these, wash it down with some water, and then I go. That is how I'm fueling. It is worth the investment in the gels. And I have bought a lot of gels this training block because I am also using them on my training runs. When I am hitting 3 miles, even on a short, like 3 to 5 mile run, I will take a gel because I want my stomach to be used to taking them while running without stopping. So that's what I'm using for fueling. Probably the biggest hurdle for marathon training as a mom are the mental blocks that come up along the way. Hello, little puppy boy. Getting enough sleep is so hard. Even if you aren't training for a marathon, if you have a young baby who's still waking up at night, between balancing all of that, managing the household, managing your career, managing yourself, you are already tired. It is absolutely imperative that you get enough sleep. I have been diligently going to bed between 8:30 and 9 o'clock almost every single night this entire marathon training plan, and I really think it's why I've been able to do most of the runs on my plans without big issues. We are currently planning on making a big move, and so I know that I'm feeling subconsciously very anxious about that. And the past month, I have not been sleeping well, and it is catching up to me. I did 3 miles on Monday when it was supposed to be 7.5. I didn't do my speed work and I didn't do my long run, and I am still exhausted. What I'm doing to overcome that is I've started having a wind down routine. I am putting my phone away at like 6 or 7 o'clock and not looking at it. And then when I do wake up in the middle of the night, I am doing breathing exercises to help get myself back to sleep. I also started taking a magnesium supplement, and I'm trying not to eat too close to bedtime because I find that that really affects my sleep. I am also tracking my sleep on my Garmin watch. I have a Garmin Venue 3S. If you wear it at night when you're sleeping, it will tell you how often you are awake, how much good sleep you got. It will tell you how long you should be recovering based on your sleep score. So, a great additional feature to the Garmin, and I am using that as well. Another big mental block is understanding the waves of emotions that are going to come with running. Like, someone said something to me at the gym the other day that kind of upset me, and I was supposed to run and I was just mad. My hairdresser had cut my hair too short, so my ponytail was braided, but it was coming out and it was hitting me in the head, and I had to run 6 miles, and I just rage quit my run. That was like a few weeks ago. That anger, or like the ups and downs of the runs, of the training, will come and go. You just ride the highs while you're enjoying them. When you're going through the lows, the only goal is to just take one more step forward. My longest run so far has been 19 miles. The last like 6 miles were very difficult, and I just had to understand like there are gonna be breaks in the pain. There are gonna be breaks in the motivation where I do feel motivated again. I just have to ride the wave. You are gonna have tough parts. They are just anticipate them. They're gonna come, and then it's gonna be over. Like it's gonna be done at some point. You'll be riding back up the wave. I don't know about you, but I have definitely had a victim mindset when it comes to marathon training. I was supposed to run a marathon in November, and because my husband left, because I didn't have childcare, I really let that get into my head that I was not going to be able to train and run for a marathon. And I just kind of had to say, okay, you're acting like a victim. And maybe to some degree you are a victim of your circumstances. But if you let that define you, you're never going to achieve the goals that you set for yourself. If you're this far into the video, I know that you are a mom who is motivated, who wants the best for herself, for her kids, and that you are going to achieve the goals that you set for yourself. When that little voice in the back of your brain is telling you, well, this is hard and this is hard and it's not your fault, that blah, 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 just say, okay, yeah, I'm feeling that way. All right, I'm going to put that aside. And now I'm just going to go do what needs to be done. You need to move out of your head and into your hands, or rather your feet. You need to just put your head down, put the work in. Often when that voice does start to talk to me, I will take a pause and a breather and say, okay, let me allow myself to feel this. I'm tired. I do need to rest. So sometimes that voice is good. It will help you slow down so that you can recover and rest and relax, but you can't stay there. And I know why we're all training for a marathon. We're all training for a marathon so that we can prove to ourselves that we can do hard things, and you can do hard things. So hopefully you found this video helpful. If you like what you saw, like and subscribe. And thanks for watching. Bye.